So I wanted to talk about crystal skulls today. Crystal skulls made famous by Stephen or George Lucas's movie, The Crystal Skull, Indiana Jones, and obviously long before that. Crystal skulls are a powerful genetic collective consciousness remembrance we have of a different time on Earth. This place where I'm sitting right now is very reminiscent of homes we used to have on Atlantis. Infinity pools, wide open spaces out to the ocean, pillars behind you here. And these were then recreated with the Greeks, 600 BC, then the Romans, and now in America and the Mediterranean we're still doing it because we have a remembrance of these beautiful places, of what Atlantis was like. So the crystal skulls are skulls that are the shape and exact size of a human skull. The Mitchell-Hedges skull, as far as I can feel and see, is the only real one. All the other skulls are man-made in the sense that they are copies or trying to recreate these perfect original crystal skulls. And if we're honest about it, and you can read the same thing, you can read this in the Akashic records, you can go back and feel this yourself. It's not very difficult. It takes a tuning into ourselves and this past collective that we have. But the skulls really were a remembrance, make something solid to last into the future. Just like the pyramids were built by us, the Atlanteans. As Atlantis sank, we came to Egypt and the Yucatan and built these pyramids. What's the best thing that can last through time is something in stone, written in stone we call it. It lasts through time. So are these skulls. They don't degenerate, they don't decay. So when Anna Mitchell-Hedges finds that as a 17-year-old, and I think it was in Guatemala, but somewhere in Latin America, or on the Yucatan, she finds this skull. Now it's from one solid piece of quartz crystal. The jaw is detachable, but from the same striations and cleavage as that solid piece of quartz crystal. Impossible to do. Hewlett-Packard tried to investigate and find out how this was made. They really can't figure it out. How we could do this today. We really can't do it today. They are information repositories, and as far as I felt, there's 13 of the skulls, 12 for the zodiac, 12 months, there's actually 13 for the 13 moons. There's 13 moons in a year, so there were 13 skulls made. And they could make it for the 12 and then the one in the center. Now these will respond to us, people that get close to the crystal skull or feel it or touch it. It has a storage, just like we use hard drive storages or we use silicon or quartz in our technology, watches, computers today. Imagine the storage capacity of a giant quartz skull. Huge. It reflects light, it emits light, it responds to our consciousness. The crystal skulls, the one that has been in the public now is the Mitchell-Hedges skull, but there are 12 other ones that the Atlantean priests that we made as we knew Atlantis was going to lose its civilization, as the Dark Ages were going to come. The priests knew these Dark Ages were going to come, and so they made these skulls as repositories. They put their information, their mind meld, if you will, their thoughts, their knowledge into these quartz containers as skulls, and now as reawakening devices. They're meant to be discovered for us to reawaken ourselves, just like the pyramid does. If you go there, it will start reawakening you as well. So that's the message of the crystal skulls. They are repositories of this ancient knowledge of how to work directly with intention. People will find that what they bring of themselves to the skull is how it will respond. It will show you your own past. It will emit certain light. It will be a unique experience for each soul, because you as a soul will bring what you vibrate as, and worship the skulls, but it's like an activation device, just like a mirror is. A mirror, you don't worship a mirror, yet you might say we do. If you look around in the world today, what does everyone do first thing in the morning? They go to the mirror. What? So they can fix, so we don't worship the mirror, but it's a reflection device. So are the skulls. They are depositories, repositories of information, and reflection devices to show us what's inside ourselves. And there's also ceremony and ritual you can do with them when they meet. For instance, that orb, that crystal orb that Ray Brown found outside of Andros Island in the 1970s, I think, early 70s. When it was brought together with the Mitchell Hedges skull, there was definite light emission. One turned white, the other one turned gold. This is the reconnection of these devices. They have information to share as well. So the crystal skulls, there's no magic about it. The thing is how they were made. If you tune into that etherically in the Akashic records, they were made really instantly. They were made the way we make cookie dough. If you lay out two-dimensional cookie dough, you stick a form on it and you made a Christmas tree or a smile, or a bunny rabbit or whatever. So were these, but in 3 dimensions. The extraneous was removed. In other words, the pictured human skull was imaged perfectly by a higher intelligence, us. You can say ETs, Pleiadians. That's all true, but it's really us. We picture it, and we just say, so let it be. And the other pieces fall away. There's no tool marks. There's no tool marks needed. It's just like you punched out a form in a sense, that you took a form out of that crystal block. You just did it instantly. The same way that blocks were levitated for building the Coral Castle down in Florida, building the giant temples up in Cusco, building the pyramid, Easter Island. We had a singing energetic, it's sort of a singing mental. You can say there's some sound involved, there's some particular frequency device, wand, rod. Yes, all that's true, and that will degravitize, making up words, float these blocks. There's no way these blocks were hauled. The 80-ton, 120-ton blocks in Baalbek, Lebanon, we cannot do that today. The Japanese and the Chinese and the Americans, we cannot make a machine that can lift stone blocks that are that heavy. We can't do it. How did these people 6,000 years ago levitate 120-ton blocks? Through magic, we would call it, but it's really just a science, the higher science that we knew on Atlantis, and that's coming back now, and that we call magic, Merlin, Thoth, these magicians, Jesus. But this is no magic, it is just operating the natural. There are no supernatural, it's all natural, the natural laws of the universe. The crystal skulls, the 13 of them, were made by the Atlantean priests as a memory chip. You have a memory chip in your hard drive, in your camera. These are collective human memory chips. They could see the Dark Ages coming. We would forget all this. The Library of Alexandria would be destroyed. We would go into total forgetfulness, and this was a repository to be discovered. This is the first skull, the Anna Mitchell Hedges skull. And when the timing is right in the next 35 years or whatever, these other skulls, some of them will surface. Some may never surface, but there will be some of us, they will find each other, that we will know how to find the skulls again. And they are, again, reflection devices for us. They are storers of knowledge. Unbelievable.